Sup nerds, so if you don't know the premise of what to watch or what to not, basically the series covers all the projects that came out after Avengers Endgame, and I tell you which projects are worth watching and which ones are not. If you decide to go watch the project, that's great, go have fun. But if you decide not to, I'm here to give you the background story of the project and give you a quick plot summary of the project so you guys know what happens, but I don't take up too much of your time. And in this episode, we have the Black Widow movie. So if you enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and
That was disgusting.
right into the notification bell. And I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get straight into it. First, we're going to be starting with why you should watch Black Widow. This movie introduces some of the most important characters to the future of the MCU that it's going to appear in Avengers Doomsday, like Yelena and Red Guardian. And those characters have a deep connection with one of the OG Avengers. The dark comedy in this movie is actually pretty funny, and a lot of the dark parts of the movie are handled pretty well. Now we're going to get to why not to watch Black Widow. If we're watching in timeline order, skip this part. Seeing Natasha alive after knowing she was dead for a few years was just kind of weird, and it didn't just feel like there was any stakes. It's like, oh, this is going to be nice. Oh, it's a passing off a torch. But it's not. She's gone. You know that it didn't do anything for me specifically. Taskmaster was just a bad villain, and the twist of the movie is just bland. Natasha was probably the least interesting she's been in a movie. The stakes of the film felt pretty dull compared to the rest of the projects that came out around it. And overall, the actual plot of the movie doesn't feel like it's going to affect the future of the MCU at all. So should you watch Black Widow? My opinion is no, you don't need to. If you want a fun watch, there are certain parts of it that are pretty fun. My friend Matt likes it a lot. So if you like kind of like the street level spy thriller kind of movie like Winter Soldier, you might still like this movie. Yelena is probably the most integral character going into Doomsday that was introduced after Endgame. So if you want to see her and spend time with her and see if you like the character, then watch it. But is it a necessary watch? No. Now we're going to be moving on to the backstory of Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff is a Russian assassin that was brought into the Red Room as a child and is trained to do the bidding of its leader, Dreykov. But later on, when Natasha escapes the Red Room, she starts to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. and she goes on a couple missions with this guy named Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye. And they form a bond. And as you guys probably all know, she's one of the OG 6 Avengers. She fought alongside Tony Stark, Iron Man, Bruce Banner, Hulk, Steve Rogers, Captain America, Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and Thor. This team goes on to fight a lot of different battles together, fighting Ultron, themselves, and Thanos. In Captain America Civil War, Natasha can't decide if she agrees with the Sokovia Accords or not, so she initially agrees to sign them and work with Tony, but then she kind of betrays him, helps Cap to fight the real villain, Zemo. Because she goes against the government and helps Captain America in 2016, she has to go on the run, and that's where this movie picks up. This movie starts by following Natasha's fake Russian spy family as they pose as Americans. They consist of Natasha Romanoff, obviously Black Widow, her fake younger sister, Yelena Belova, their fake dad, Alexei Shostakov, and their fake mom, Melina Vostokov. Apologies if I did butcher any of those Russian last names. Eventually, the Americans find out that they're spies, so they run off, they get on a plane, and they go to Cuba to meet Dreykov. He's the head of the Red Room and eventually takes Yelena and Natasha to go train in the Red Room. By the way, Natasha has already been to the Red Room and she's going back after she got sent to America, but Yelena has never been before. Now we flash forward 21 years to 2016. This is where we see Natasha going on the run from the government, and more specifically, Thaddeus Ross. At this point, Yelena is still working for the Red Room because she's still brainwashed, but a former Black Widow finds the serum to kind of reverse that effect, and she's able to spray it on Yelena on one of her missions. We cut back to Natasha, and she's just driving around, but then she gets attacked by Taskmaster. She's able to escape, but now she's pissed because she doesn't know why she was attacked, so she's going to find out. She realized that it was probably because her friend who helps her stay hidden brought her a box of things from her hideout in Budapest. Or Budapest, I don't really know. And what was in it was the red gas that was hit on Yelena to make her get unbrainwashed, and a picture of Yelena and Natasha when they were young. This pushes her to go to Budapest and confront Yelena. They don't really trust each other, so they start to attack each other, and then they kind of work together because then they get attacked by Black Widows, and then they get attacked by Taskmaster. So it's a whole thing, but they eventually escape. While Natasha and Yelena were hiding, she kind of reveals that she killed Dreykov, and she used his daughter to get to him, and then she blows up this building, and then they both die. But then Yelena's like, no, the Red Room's all good, Dreykov's all good, everybody's alive, and they're doing well. And then Natasha's pissed, so they decide, let's go take down the Red Room. They don't really know where the Red Room is, so they get their dad Alexei out of jail so that he can help them find where it is. He has no clue where it is, so that doesn't really do anything. But he suggests, oh, maybe your fake mom, Melina, knows where it is. They go to her house, they have a nice dinner together. It wasn't so nice, but then they realize that Yelena was working for the Red Room. She says, yeah, I'm working for the Red Room. I'm sorry, like I shouldn't have done that. Like, you guys seem like really nice. And she like kind of has a soft spot for them, so she alerts them that they're coming, but then they come up with a plan, but they still get captured by the Red Room, and they get sent on a plane or a helicopter or whatever, and they go to the Red Room, and it is floating in the sky. So on their plane to take down the Red Room, Natasha and Yelena switch their faces and use the spy technology where they can switch their faces or whatever. Yelena, which is Natasha, goes to Dreykov, and Natasha, who's actually Yelena, gets sent into their little prison. In a conversation between Natasha and Dreykov, she kind of goes like, oh yeah, I killed your daughter. And then he goes, not really. So we find out that Taskmaster is actually his daughter. But now she's kind of mind controlled with a chip. Natasha's kind of pissed at Dreykov, so she goes to try to attack him. But then she realizes that she can't. And it's because he used a kind of pheromone to make sure that she couldn't do him any harm. I don't know how that works, but he figured it out. And then he reveals that he has a full planet filled with Black Widows. Yelena does know this already, that she can't attack him, so she tells her, go sever the nerve of your nose so you cannot smell him and you can just attack him anyways. But then Dreykov is like, oh, I'm gonna die, so he sends the Black Widows after her. Natasha is getting cooked, but then Yelena walks in and she releases all that red gas and kind of frees all the Black Widows. In the process of all this, Yelena blows up an engine, so the Red Room is literally falling. But before it goes down, Natasha makes sure she gets all the information of where all the Black Widows are so she can free them. Alexei and Yelena fly away on a plane. Yelena blows up the helicopter that Dreykov is in, and he dies. Natasha's able to jump off the Red Room, and she's able to give Yelena a parachute. As Natasha's falling, she goes down on a bunch of the debris, and she tries to slow her fall, but then she's literally falling from the literal sky, so it's kind of hard. And she's getting attacked by Taskmaster. Once Natasha and Taskmaster get to the ground, she's able to break one of the red gas things, and she's able to free Dreykov's daughter from the mind control. This movie ends with Yelena, Alexei, Yelena, Taskmaster all going to find the widows and free them of the mind control. And Natasha has to make sure she escapes because Thaddeus Ross shows up and she's got to get out of there. We get a flash forward 2 weeks later and we see that Natasha's friend that kind of keeps her hidden, who also gets her stuff like helicopters or whatever, he gets a little bit more time this time and he's able to get her a Quinjet, which leads directly into the Civil War post-credit scene where her and apparently Steve go to free Wanda, Falcon, Hawkeye, and Ant-Man. Again, spoilers if you're watching this in timeline order. Because in the post-credit scene, we see a flash forward to the present day, and we see Yelena visiting Natasha's grave. Should have probably mentioned this earlier, but Natasha and Yelena have this little back-and-forth whistle thing that they do together, but Yelena does her half, but obviously Natasha can't do her half, so it's really sad. But then Valentina shows up, and she's blowing her nose, and she's being a jerk about it, and she's there to recruit her to attack the guy who she claims is responsible for Natasha's death. And she claims it's Clint Barton, Hawkeye. So why is this movie important for the future of the MCU? It's pretty much not, other than just establishing Yelena and Red Guardian. I think Thunderbolts would be a fine explanation if you just watch the rest of this video. You kind of get the general aspect of who Yelena is. And Red Guardian's a big dope. However, I do think Yelena is going to be one of the important figures in the future of the MCU, especially in Avengers Doomsday, because she's showing up, and Red Guardian's showing up, and Yelena is showing up, rumored, in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But again, it's not a necessary watch, so if you didn't want to watch it, you'd be fine. If you do want to watch it and get a better understanding of who Yelena is and Red Guardian is, go watch it. It's not a bad watch, it's just not necessary. And that's the end of the video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and...
It still fits.
Oh my god.
I never watched it once.
right into the notification bell. And as always, make sure to have a fantastic day. And if you cannot have a fantastic day today, have a fantastic day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, nerds!